Welcome back everybody, my name is Anton and today we're going to be learning about FHIR queries, specifically about the include and rev-include parameters. Now, to learn about FHIR queries, we are going to need a FHIR server, and we can provision ourselves a FHIR server using the MeldRx platform. If you sign up for a free account, you can get 5 workspaces for free. So if you want to follow along with this video, go ahead and sign up. The link for that will be in the description, as well for all of the other stuff that I'm going to be using in this video. Don't forget, if you're enjoying it, leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, make sure to leave in the comment section, and let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be talking about FHIR. I'm going to start the documentation because most of the information that I'm going to be telling you here today, you can find out from the FHIR documentation yourself. But some documentations can be pretty intimidating, so I'm going to show you how I navigate this documentation. So I'm currently on the R4 version, okay? I'm going to go to the documentation and to the search section. Here I'm going to see _include. I can also find it like this, _include. And on the right hand side, you can see there is a bunch of stuff here. But if I just click on this button, it's going to take me there, okay? So include allows us to include or reverse include other types of resources within our search, okay? What that means, we'll find out in just a second. Let's go all the way to the top, and I'm actually going to open up this documentation back in here. I'm going to go to the front of the page, to the R4 version, and we're going to go to resources, and here we're going to take an example of patient, and I can't see, search for observation, and open this in a new tab, okay? So when we are, let me drag the search over here. When we are talking about including and reverse including, the parameter that we're going to be specifying is going to consist of 3 parts. And these 3 parts are separated by a colon character. So here's an example of what it looks like. The 3rd part is optional. However, our FHIR server requires that you specify the 3rd part for it to work. Okay. So the 3 parts describe the relationship. So for example, if we take a look at the patient, does a patient have a relationship to an observation or a navigation property? If we take a look at all of the properties, nowhere are we going to see, for example, a reference to an observation. So a patient record doesn't reference observations. There is no way to navigate to an observation from a patient. And this is where rev-include comes in, where, for example, if we're searching for patients, we can navigate to properties which we're not really pointing to, okay? Now, if we take a look at an observation and we take a look at its properties, we're going to see a subject property over here, and that can potentially point to a patient, okay? So an observation has a relationship or has a reference to the patient, to what we're looking for, okay? So again, coming back to the search, the things that are separated by the colon right over here is effectively a direction of the relationship. So the name of the resource from which the join comes, in our case, this is going to be an observation. So I'm going to move it over here. An observation through the subject can find a patient. So the first parameter is going to be the observation. The name of the search parameter is going to be subject, and the 3rd parameter is going to be the type that we're looking for. In our case, it's going to be patient. Okay, so it would effectively state observation, subject, patient. And on any types that you're looking for, if you can find some kind of navigational property with a reference, you can say, I want this type with this parameter against this other type. And the FHIR server should find this relationship, okay? Let's go ahead and see how this works. So again, just to solidify this idea, we're going from an observation through the subject to find the patient, okay? That is going to be our, we can call it key that we join on, okay? Or a relationship description, okay? Now, if I pop over to the MeldRx platform, I have already created a system application. And in workspaces, I have already created myself a workspace. It's not hard. You just go to create workspaces, standalone, give it a name, and you have a workspace. Now, all you have to do is seed it with data. which I have already done before recording this video. If I select this standalone workspaces, all I have to make sure is that inside the apps, I have added this system application to have access to this workspace. Okay. Now in general settings, I will see that I have my workspace details, the identifier and the workspace URL. I can just go ahead, copy the workspace URL, pop on over to Postman. And in here, I have set up a query collection where I have configured my authorization, where I am pointing to app.meldrx.com, and then we have the /connect/token endpoint where we get the tokens, and then the scopes for the application. We're just going to be reading, so patient/star.read will be enough, but here I can basically read anything and create anything as a system application, okay? And then I have just inputted my credentials over here. I'm going to go to the bottom, generate a new access token, proceed, use this token, and now this token is stored somewhere over here, okay? I will add a new request, hide this tab so we get a little bit more real estate. I'm going to paste the FHIR server URL and just search for what kind of observations do I have in my FHIR server. So to start with, we are getting 10 observations. Can I collapse these links? And here they are. So we have a bunch of observations. And if we take a look at the observation, just on the right-hand side, I can see here where it starts and stops. If we take a look here, we have a subject. So if I take a look at about yay much, I can see that all of these will have a subject. And if I keep dragging over, I will see a couple of dots disappear here. So that is because we actually have 2 patients. So I will duplicate this tab. We're going to search for patients. Here we have 2 patients. So if I just resource type patient, we have 1 here and 1 here. Okay. So when we're searching for observations and we want to include our patients, all we have to do is remember the relationship. You can see in my history here, I have already been trying this, so it's a little bit of a spoiler, but we want to include, this is if you are querying the same type as the relationship is starting with, you're going to be including because you have a direct reference. In this case, if we send, we're going to see that now we have 12 results. And if we search for patient, maybe somewhere over here where the results look a little bit messed up, we have resource type patient. And here we have the 2 patients that show up over here. Okay. So now if we are querying for patients and we would like to include the observations, we would effectively take the same query parameter, place it over here, but because we do not have a direct reference, rather in this relationship, we still need to go from the observation. So from the type that we are not querying by, we include rev include. Okay. And now if we search, we get a total of 29 results. Okay. And these will include all the observations. You will see the 2 gaps here that denote our patients. So we still get all of the patients. It's just that we do not get all of the observations. Okay. So if I can just find the patient. So the patients are mixed in with all of their observations. Okay. And if you're wondering why do we get 12 over here and for example, 29 over here. And that is because we have more than 10 observations and we return 10 results at a time. So for example, if I cut this and we specify the count to be 30 to get all of the 27 observations that we have, we can do that as well. Okay. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So to quickly summarize, if you have some kind of type, for example, an observation that has a reference property, for example, a subject that points to some kind of other type. So an observation through the subject points to a patient. So you can use this join expression in the _include or _rev include parameters to make sure both of the types are included in the search result. And this will be the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content if you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to check out the description and have a good day.